Hi guys, welcome back for another Tower of Fantasy video. For today's video, I will be sharing some clips and highlights from last Saturday's live stream. Starting on this video, I will try to speak more in English since we have friends and crewmates who are watching and they are not Filipino, so I could just speak in Filipino or Tagalog like I usually do, but if I do that, I will need to add English subtitles throughout the video, and I don't think I can finish this in time since I'm a bit busy IRL. So anyway, I was not really planning on finishing OOW or this Origin of War anytime soon because you can complete this until the end of March anyway, and I'm sure enough, I'm not that strong to finish these higher stages alone, especially with these boosted difficulties. I'm currently recording a couple of days after our stream and it's still in 600% difficulty boost. However, one of our crewmates named Bame asked for help in clearing some OOW stages since the last stage that he was able to complete was stage 5, I think. So I volunteered as a healer and helped him along with another crewmate, Virgil. And since we were missing one more party member, we just asked someone in the world chat and was able to get Dorothy. Since Vame didn't have any useful buffs yet, since the last stage completed was stage 5, I think, we decided to farm buffs from stages that we have already cleared. I think during the live stream, the last stage that I was able to finish was stage 19. So I told them that we can farm stage 19 for this Volt Boost 5 instead of going back to the initial stages like 10, 15. They are Volt Boost, but the one here in stage 5 made sense because it increases your damage by 50%. Since we're already farming buffs, Virgil suggested that Bame, as a Volt user, farm specific buffs that will help him do better DPS. So in this case, for example, we'll just call these buffs as 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11 o'clock. So since Bame was a DPS and Volt user or 1 o'clock buff, he needed the empathic number 3. I think you can find this empathic number 3 in stage 21. This one, I don't have it yet. It increases your damage, crit damage by 50%. And then for the 3 o'clock buff, which is this one, you should get Electrified. So Electrified is found in as early as stage 6. This one, Electrified Dealer. This will vary depending on the element of your team comp because, for example, this one, Electrify. Every 60 seconds, electrify all enemy targets for 30 seconds. That has a combo. Cross damage dealt to enemies inflicted by Electrify, which is this one, it's increased by 50%. You see, it has a note, fight with both bolt and frost weapons to take advantage of this. I think if the enemy is electrified and you have this, if you have teammates or weapons that are frost element, it will deal 50% increased damage. It's the same as this one. Frostbiter, and then Cold Superconductor is the combo for that. For flame users, this is the one. Burn dealer, burn damage, and you have this. I think the combo is both frost and flame physical. Next is for 5 o'clock buff, which is this one, stronger in time, which is, I think this is the best in slot for DPS because it increases your attack by 1% up to 30%. So I think the stage lasts for around 5 minutes, I think. So the first 30 seconds you already have 30% attack boost. So that's fine. On the 7 o'clock buff, they needed insulation demagnetizer, yeah. So this is paired with the electrified. Fortunately, I don't have electrified. This is my only 3 o'clock buff, which is mediocre. Lightning Cut. It's pathetic. I cannot get any 3 o'clock buffs. Both the Electrify and Insulation Demagnetizer can be found in as early as stage 6, yeah. Earliest stage 6. And find stronger in time in stage 13. And then for the 9 o'clock buff, one, for DPS you need Bloodthirsty, which can be found in stage 16. This one, Bloodthirsty. The lower the enemy's HP, increase the damage you deal up to 40%. And then last is the 11 o'clock buff, which is for me because my alter damage relies on my frost damage. I'm using frost boost 5, but it's Bami's Volt. He needed Volt 5, which can be found in stage 19. I have it, but you know, not using it. So if you're a DPS, just refer to this list. I know there are better buff combinations, but this is what Virgil suggested for Bami to use. So 1 o'clock, Emphatic Striker level 3. At 3 o'clock, Electrify Dealer. At 5 o'clock buff, Stronger in Time. For the 7 o'clock buff, Insulation Demagnetizer. And for the 9 o'clock buff, Bloodthirsty. And for the 11 o'clock buff, use your whatever element you need. As a support like me, I think the only important ones are this one, Healing Angel. The Healing Angel number 3 can be found in, I think, stage 17 with this one. In stage 17, you can also get the Finisher. It's like the Obliterator buff in Void Abyss. So usually the support user or your healer will get this one because it instantly finishes a target when its HP is less than 10%. It's really like the Obliterator buff, and it's very useful in clearing out stages. Those are the 2 buffs that I needed, and the element, of course, that you need. Stronger in Time. There are also other buffs for the 5 o'clock station, like this one, Courageous Heart, or more heals, I guess. For the earlier stages, I think people are using this one, Healing Suppressed, but as you go further, I think Bloodthirsty and Finisher are the right buffs for the 9 o'clock slot. And this is a pathetic buff. I really need to swap this out. As early as now, try to get the try to get this one. I never got this buff, the Altered Shield, but you really need this one, okay? I'll tell you why later. I believe that there are better buffs out there, but these were enough for me in my team to finish up to stage 20, I think. And our DPS carries, they were able to finish stage 25. NANI? Also, I think it's kind of frustrating to finish several stages and not get any buffs. Initially, we thought it's just a bug because it was occurring way before, but for example, for this stage, there are only 2 buffs, so you're expecting that if you clear this stage, you get at least one of these right, but no, you won't get any. Like for example, in stage 19, I think we cleared this around 10 times with my run with Vame and Virgil, but 2 out of 10 I got this, and 8 out of 10 I never got any buff, so that's frustrating. If you think getting a duplicate buff of whatever you already have is frustrating, imagine finishing a stage for 3 to 4 minutes and you don't get any. That's devs, what are you doing, man? Okay, so after farming some buffs for Vame, I thought I was done for OOW for that day, and I was just doing my dailies, but our friendly neighborhood Diglopia asked if we can clear OOW 25. Of course, I laughed because I told him that my team earlier tried to finish OOW 21, stage 21, which was currently at, what, 300? I think this was 400% the other day. And we got wrecked. Yeah. Simple. In simpler terms, we got wrecked. The enemies can one-shot our team, so we just gave up. And I told them that we can finish on a later date anyway. So I just went on with my dailies, and I didn't really want to join, but they needed a healer, so I gave them a disclaimer that, yeah, I can heal, but as you know, I don't have Lyra, so I don't have hyper body, but they said it was okay. So we went and tried stage 25, and stage 25 was still at 600% difficulty back then, and until now it's still 600% difficulty. Our first team was composed of Diglopia, Rara Cutie Pie, and our resident good guy will carry Ikis, or how should I pronounce it? Ekis? In Filipino, you should just read this as Ekis, as in cross-mark Ekis. So we'll just assume it's Ikis, who usually helps our crew members finish hard contents like this one. He's a good guy. But for now, we'll try OOW 21, but I think we'll die. Because we died earlier in stage 21, right? GG. I don't think we'll survive.
Oh yeah.
Look at that 600% difficulty. What? Goodbye. Wow, GG. See? As you can see on our first attempt, we got wrecked. Got wrecked real hard because the enemies piled up. And yeah, since it's still on 600% difficulty, the stage was not a joke. So after several attempts, Ikis gave us a solid plan on how to survive this stage so that we can focus on DPS and sustain. However, our damage was really not high enough, and being a squishy support was not helping at all. So we tried again, and this time we almost have enough DPS, but we're still dying to Puppet Singer's attack. She has this attack that can one-shot your team. It's annoying, but you can usually dodge it if you see the animation, but it's hard because we usually go in and out and it's close range. But if you manage to go out of the shout, the wave of shout, you'll survive with barely half of your HP. Then eventually the team told us to get or use the Altered Shield buff, because the Altered Shield gives you a 30% damage reduction against altered damage. So imagine if we can survive Puppet Singer's attack with the help of this, then that will be great. However, I don't have this buff yet. So even if we have a solid plan and a good DPS, being not knocked out by Puppet Singer and being revived takes a lot of our time for DPS. So I think team just gave up for now. I think I thought they were really done for the day. So I just said, yeah, I'm just going to farm this buff. I tried to solo stage 1 because I don't think people will farm this stage anymore. So I think I can finish this at around 4 minutes because it's solo and I'm a support main and I have mediocre DPS. But at the same time, I forgot that my current buffs were for support. So I tried to swap this out, this Healing Angel. I tried to swap this out with critical. Yeah, this one, Empathic Striker for critical damage. If only I had number 3, it will be 50. And then for the finisher, I think I use this Bloodthirsty because finisher won't be that useful in earlier stages because their HP pool isn't that high anyway. So from 4 minutes, I was able to finish this stage 1 solo for I think 3 minutes, which is not bad considering that I'm not really a DPS user. And yeah, come to think of it, since we did not know which enemies will be appearing in stage 5 when we first started OOW stages, we had no idea that this first buff, the Altered Shield you can find in stage 1, will be very useful in the final stage. Good job, devs. Way to go for sneaking one around us. I think after a few rounds, I still didn't get this buff, so I was planning to give up. And eventually I saw the crew chat and they found McDonnie. McDonnie was the one with us when we finished Void Abyss 6, so his DPS was really high. So we made a new team with Biglopia, Ikis, and McDonnie, and this time we're sure that our damage was enough. But I told them that I still don't have the Altered Shield, so I'm still squishy. But they said, heck, let's go, let's try. Since we now have McDonnie, and we already had a good strategy planned out because we learned from dying a lot, and we already have enough DPS to clear this stage. The only problem now is to survive. So yeah, honestly, I was just carried real hard through this stage. And I know my free-to-play weapons like Coco and Zero or just barely enough to help sustain the team. So I'm really thankful to our DPS carries and everyone who helped me here. So before I give you the final clip of the day, I think some of the important notes to remember for this stage is to first ignore Puppet Singer and just go back to her, finish her last. Once you enter the stage, try to kill the big tiger first. I think it was called Abyssal Tripper, and you should kill that guy first and then go to the smaller grunts like the Abyssal Stalker that has the space-time relic skill. If you have enough DPS to kill the big tiger and those smaller grunts at once, then go ahead, kill them at the same time, but be sure to ignore Puppet Singer first. And when you're inside the space-time relic skill from the Abyssal Stalker, try not to dodge or dash when inside the red field because you will get frozen. But I know it's hard, especially for some players like me or Volt mains who like to dash in and out, and they rely on their dash attack so much. So good luck. And finally, if you don't have enough DPS or any good carries among your friends, your crew members, or the entire server who can actually carry you guys, don't worry about it. This content was supposed to be accessible for everyone because the difficulty will eventually decrease before we reach the end of March. So yeah, don't frustrate yourselves.
No, 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 no. It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Nice OG. OG. Nice guys. The drops are good, especially in the lower stages. This is Camino. I didn't get this. These are the actual rewards that you can get for completing stage 25, not this one. I don't think I got this one because I would know if I had this because this is research energy and I didn't get that one. Yeah, so with that, I hope you learned something from this video and see you guys again next time. Lucky Bear out. Bye-bye.